it's the same thing of like, you can believe that someone's artistic vision, which I'm using inverted commas because, you know, having a vision that involves other people, whether it's like a photo shoot or a film set, you still, people are people. Like, you cannot forget that there's actually a human being in the role that you're putting them in. And I think they just don't think of these models as people. They are there as the mannequins for their vision. And if that vision is interrupted in any way because, you know, you're a child that can't accept that, you know, everything can't be perfect, and you destroy someone's self-esteem, you destroy somebody's livelihood potentially.
Yeah, that's not something I'd really thought about before. Difficult. Yeah, that for one, which happens to a lot of models. But it's not something I thought about, the idea that they change up these like models' appearances and then if they can't get jobs after that. Because I do feel like you see models in shoots or walking the like in a catwalk and they've got like a really weird haircut and you don't really think much more than it. You're like, okay, I guess that works with this person's vision. But then what happens after that? Like, they've got some sort of weird haircut and it like, or they've like that says shave their eyebrows and they can't get a job after that. I've never thought about that, and it really made me think about it used to be my favorite episodes of the show, but on America's Next Top Model, when they would do the makeover episodes, but you would have like the one girl every year that would be crying because they'd be like, we're going to shave your head. And at the time, because I'd be watching it and I was like ruthless, I'd be like, oh my God, stop crying, just do it, this is how you're going to make it as a model. But the thing is, like, no, because they might not, like, say they shave this girl's head, she goes out after she doesn't win the show, she goes out to get jobs afterwards and they're like, no, we don't really like you with the shaved head. Like, it impacts their career and their livelihood, and it's not something I'd considered.
You'd maybe have to get like a wig, or they'd have to pay like, they would just pay someone who's got long hair or whatever fitted. Like, you don't fit the mold anymore and you're less employable, I think, unless someone's like specifically looking for models with shaved heads. So I definitely think there's a lot of sacrifice for not very much on the model's part, it seems like, and they're just treated so badly.
I think this is why, if I was a model, and I'm not really talking about like the models that, like the big models who you know the names of, but like if I was a model and I was struggling and I was going to about like 50 jobs in a week and I was being told these horrific things, and then I know I'm coming back to it again, but then I heard like Kendall Jenner being like, yeah, I didn't have it all handed to me, I would be like, you didn't have to come at like 5:30 in the morning and stand here for hours on end with no food and nothing to drink to then be ridiculed and not hired. I don't think that Kendall Jenner would have had to do that.
No, absolutely.
And she didn't have the extra added pressure of, if I don't book this job, I can't pay my rent this month. If they do this to me and they change my appearance like that, if I accept this job and they shave my head, I might not get hired again, and that means I won't be able to pay rent next month. Like, I don't think she had that stress.
No, and you can imagine, because of who her family is, that Kris Jenner wouldn't let her daughter be treated that way. That, you know, she probably has set cool times. Yeah, she might be on set for a couple of hours, but she probably has her own dressing room. She probably has a driver that takes her to there. She probably has a private jet that she can take to get to places much quicker than people who have to drive, like, across country for a casting call. She probably doesn't have to do casting calls, or if not, it'll be like a private thing in the models, in the designer's like studio apartment. Absolutely. Like, you can imagine. I'm not saying that abuses can't happen under those circumstances, but I don't think the circumstances that she gets hired in, she'll be way more comfortable than any of like normal model, like people trying to start out. 14-year-olds who are the ones that
100%
are being, you know, cast. That's the age that women tend to be cast at.
14. And I feel like I just want to add a disclaimer. Like, we are saying Kendall Jenner specifically, but that is basically any model that comes into the industry through nepotism. Yeah, it just happens that she's a good example, and that she has spoken about how she doesn't think that she has these privileges. That's the only reason that I'm using her in particular, but I'm sure you could just as like easily
Cindy
put
Crawford's daughter,
or the Hadid
sisters. Yeah. There's hundreds of them. Like,
yeah, exactly. It's not just her, but I think she works as a better example because she denies that she has this privilege.
Yeah.
And I just feel like if I was a model, I would want to go and speak to her and be like, but this is what. And I think it needs to change as an industry, and I think everyone should have an easy route in. as Kendall Jenner, but it just doesn't happen that way.